Imagine a scenario so chilling it doesn't belong in a dystopian Hollywood blockbuster, but in the brutal reality of January 2026. Berlin, once the beating heart of Europe, a global symbol of stability and order, has flatlined. The German capital has been plunged into freezing, suffocating darkness. This is not a flicker. This is not a routine outage. This is a catastrophic cascading collapse. More than 45,000 households, critical care hospitals, and nursing homes have been violently severed from heat and electricity. As temperatures drop well below zero, Europe's most powerful capital begins to resemble something far darker, a graveyard. And the question everyone is asking is simple. How did this happen under the watch of Chancellor Friedrich Merz? The mainstream media rushed in with excuses. They called it a technical complication, a grid anomaly, a temporary disruption. That is a lie. The truth is far more terrifying. This was not an accident. This was not incompetence. This was an act of war from within. A radical extremist network known as the Vulcan Group didn't just damage infrastructure. They severed the jugular vein of Europe's largest economy. They torched power lines. They destroyed supply routes. And they knowingly accepted the possibility of civilian deaths as collateral damage. This is not activism. This is not protest. This is domestic terrorism. Images emerging from Berlin's outer districts are nothing short of apocalyptic. The Bundeswehr rolls in emergency generators, a last-ditch attempt to compensate for a complete failure of internal security. And yet, where is the outrage? Where is the state of emergency? Where is leadership? The Merz administration is paralyzed, offering silence where there should be sirens. This is no longer an energy crisis. It is the visible symptom of a dying superpower. Germany allowed radical extremism to grow unchecked for years, treated with kid gloves by a political class terrified of appearing too firm. Now the bill has come due, and it is being paid in the suffering of ordinary citizens. A G7 nation that cannot protect its own capital from a handful of arsonists is not a global leader. It is a failed state in the making. But while Berlin fumbles in the dark, something else happens. The floodlights switch on, not in Europe, but in Washington, D.C. And what they reveal is not sympathy. It is fury. If Friedrich Merz hoped for a quiet diplomatic phone call to save face, he received something far worse. A public execution. Instead of silence, the world watched as J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States, stepped up to the podium. And he did not whisper. He dismantled Germany's credibility, live, in front of the world. Forget diplomatic niceties. Forget decades of transatlantic rhetoric. The Trump, Vance administration has no patience for failure. Vance made one thing clear. Washington knows exactly what is happening in Berlin. They have the intelligence reports the German media is afraid to publish. And he asked the question no one in Berlin dares to say out loud. How can America trust an ally with nuclear secrets if that ally can't even guard its own power cables? For the U.S. government, the Berlin blackout is not a tragedy. It is proof. Proof that Germany, under its current leadership, is no longer a reliable partner. The United States stations tens of thousands of troops on German soil. It stores strategic assets. It operates one of its most critical embassies there. And if left-wing extremists can switch off the capital at will, Vance made clear the safety of American personnel is no longer guaranteed. This is a geopolitical earthquake, 10.0 on the Richter scale. Vance is openly threatening to reconsider America's security guarantees. Then came the line that hit like a cruise missile. You shut down your nuclear plants to save the climate, he said, and now your pensioners are freezing because you can't control criminals with lighters. Silence followed, and then panic, because investors heard something else. A signal, pull your money out. Germany is no longer safe. An industrial state that cannot guarantee electricity in winter, Vance declared, is no longer an industrial state. It is a rehabilitation case. For Wall Street, Berlin is no longer a powerhouse. It is a risk asset, a sinking ship. And Washington isn't done. The Trump administration views this blackout as a symptom of a deeper disease, an ideology that prioritizes optics over order. For Vance, the extremist networks aren't anomalies. They are the result of years of political blindness. The ultimatum from Washington is blunt: restore law and order, or stand alone. America is done playing nanny to a Europe that refuses to grow up. If you want protection, keep the lights on. If you can't secure your own capital, don't expect help against Moscow or Beijing. Friedrich Merz now stands trapped between a freezing population at home and a furious superpower abroad. The firewall he defended didn't protect democracy. It protected incompetence. The mask is off. Germany is exposed. Weak. Vulnerable. And unless something changes, alone. The winter of 2026 is dark. But this blackout is more than infrastructure failure. It is a moral collapse. The world is watching. And Germany must choose order or irreversible chaos.